6 schedule and are looking for their second straight unbeaten season. Last year, Dino Gar, in his first year as head coach, took his Garnets to a bowl win over then unbeaten John Jay. This year, there have been some surprises for Coach Gar, but not unpleasant ones.
Well, surprised in the sense that we've done some things not as well as we'd like, and we've done some good things in a sense of a positive way. So, you know, we're a little surprised in that. As coaches, always like to be surprised in a positive way. But we thought we had a pretty good team returning. We had a nucleus of good players coming back in skill positions, except for quarterback, and you know, and he's just done a great job as a sophomore. So we feel pretty happy about it.
Last week, the Garnets garnered 410 total yards in offense against Woodland and have put some more impressive numbers up on the board in their other wins against some pretty tough competition. Coach Gar, however, does see some room for improvement.
There always are. I think that we have to be consistent in our running game. I think that we run the play well one time, and then the next time we'll run, you know, a similar play or the same play, and we just don't do it as well as we should. And I think that just comes from being consistent. Consistency is something all coaches want. They call it execution or whatever. But you know, that aspect of the game, I think we have to be better at with running, and we've done a real good job lately on the passing aspect of it. But I think we can run the ball better. We'll be more consistent.
There's not a whole lot of teams around Section 1 that will trust the quarterback spot to a sophomore. They do it here at Rye, and it seems to be working, especially when you take a look at the numbers on the passing game.
Well, I think that comes with maturity, and I think the maturity is and the fact of the confidence. I think the Portchester game was a big confidence level for the sophomore quarterback. We always had the receivers, and I think Steve has done an outstanding job even from the first game. I'm talking about Steve Reeland. But I think that Portchester game where we had to throw the ball and they knew we were throwing and we still completed some passes. And then after that, feeling that I'm sure that he's mature enough to understand the offense a lot better. You know, I think that we're going to throw the ball now, and we try to keep that equal balance. The idea of equal is a little bit tough, but a good mix. But we're very fortunate. We've got some good kids that, they're not kids, the young men. They come in and know their roles, and they step in and do a real good job. And Joey Schertz, Al Giglio, and Scott Newman, and Chris Twinson, and Jerome Kenny. We're really fortunate in our backfield.
Well, Dino Gar, we should also tell you, does have another bit of a streak going here on Cable 3. Since his days as head coach at Westlake and now here at Rye, Dino Gar is a perfect 6-0 whenever he appears here on the Cable 3 High School Football Game of the Week. And right now, his team is set to go. A very big and traditional rivalry. As we told you, it's raining. It has been raining steadily all afternoon long, and we hope you'll stay with us. Straight ahead, as we continue with the Cable 3 High School Football Game of the Week, we have for you game number 8. The Eagles and the Garnets about set to have at it. We'll have the opening kickoff when we return in just a moment. And the campus of Rye High School, I'm John Caridio along with Ray Karowski. Nice and dry, I'm able to say, very thankfully, as we get set for the game of the week. The Eastchester Eagles coming in at 3-4 on the season, and they'll be taking on the Rye Garnets, and they have a perfect mark of 6-0-1. Did you see the scattered Braves who have joined us on a wet and somewhat cold afternoon here at Rye High School? But this should be a big game, as we mentioned in the pregame show, with the field being muddy. Could be indeed the great equalizer. Joe King getting set to kick it away, and this ball game is underway. It's a split kick. Comes up to the Eagles at the 20-yard line, and right up the middle of the field they go, and down across the 35-yard line to the 33 as the ball comes loose, but it will belong to the Eastchester Eagles, and they will have it 1st and 10 from there. Let's take a look at the starting offensive unit for the Eastchester Eagles. And leading the way at quarterback will be a sophomore, number 3, Butch Burrows. He's 6 feet, 170 pounds, and he is the 3rd quarterback that John DiArco has had to use. We'll show you the rest of the starting unit in just a moment after this first play. Eastchester has it 1st and 10 from their own 37-yard line. And Burrows on the very first play gives to Robert Wooten, number 42, the big fullback. He's a senior, 5'11", 195. And Wooten gets it up close to the 40-yard line, right across it. A pickup of 2 yards for Wooten. It'll be 2nd down and 8. Here's the offensive unit for the Eagles. Burrows is the quarterback, Wooten the fullback, Matt Galbelli will be the tailback. The halfback is Paul Petrillo, and the split end is number 10, Joe Pinto. On the offensive line for the Eagles, Ralph Fusillo, Guy Palesco, Joe Valente, Jason Kaplan, Craig Papalardo, and the tight end number 90 is Bill Sabatino. Second down and 8 for the Eagles. Ball at their own 41-yard line. First pass of the day, and it's complete to number 82, John DeAngelica for the Eagles, and a completion up to the 45-yard line. That'll be a pickup of 4 yards. Then it'll bring up a third down and 3. Defensively for the Rye Garnets, they will have for us the four-man front, Nick Savarese, Scott Johnson, Roy Haney, Gunnar Huber on the line, and the middle linebacker is Tom Cottasbody. We'll show you the D-backs after the next play. And it is third down and 3 for the Eagles. Wooten and Petrillo are the setbacks behind Burrows. And going to the tailback, number 40, Matt Galbelli. Galbelli able to pick up 2 yards, what will be short of the first down call. And it'll be fourth down. The D-backs for the Rye Garnets in the ball game. Mark Surhoff and Tommy Armas, the 2 outside linebackers. Mike Bach and Alex Wicklund are the corners, and the safeties, Chris Quinton and Colin Hine. So it is 4th and 1 for Eastchester, and Robert Wooten sets back to punt the football away with no score, and 9:55 left to go in the first quarter. Rob Wooten, the senior. And Eastchester's going to go for it. Burrows, they'll pitch it back to Wooten on a quick kick, but Joe King was deep. He fields it at his own 30-yard line, now looks to come up the middle of the field. Penalty marker goes down, as does King, at the Rye 40-yard line. And we'll check out the penalty marker and get the call as the Garnets will go on offense, 1st and 10.
John, the quick kick was a very good call, because what happens, you don't have to snap it back 10 or 15 yards. There's the kick. Joe King, number 7, gets hit by 3 men from Eastchester. It's a good call, because the ball is being exchanged from the center to the quarterback, and then all he does is just pitch it back to the tailback who punts it.
15-yard penalty holding against Rye. They're first, so that'll drop them back a bit, and it'll be 1st and 10 now from the 25-yard line. Offensively, for the Rye Garnets, unbeaten at 6-0-1, Steve Riebling is the quarterback. A sophomore, he wears number 10, 6'1", 160 pounds. And the backfield, and we have a timeout taken on the field by Eastchester. They weren't quite ready for that opening, so that'll be their first. There's the rest of the backfield for the Garnets. Chris Quinton is the fullback. The tailback is Joe King. The wingback is Tommy Armas, and the split end is Mark Surhoff. On the offensive line for the Eagles, Mark Weintraub, Gunnar Huber, Brian O'Mara anchors it at the center spot. Tom O'Leary's at a guard, and Tom Cottasbody will be the tackle, number 52. While we have the timeout, we can continue to run right through, show you the defensive set for the Eastchester Eagles at 3-4 on the season. And defensively for Eastchester, they have the 5-man front. Rob Wooten and Billy Sabatino are the 2 ends. Joe Valentine and Craig Papalardo are the tackles, and the nose guard is Jim Scanlon. Sabatino, incidentally, defensive end, scored a touchdown on a fumble recovery that beat Ardsley a week ago. And the D-backs for the Eagles. All right, we'll get to that in a second. As Rye comes up 1st and 10 now from their own 25-yard line with 9:28 left to go in the first quarter. Riebling has done an excellent job for Dino Garnes, the sophomore quarterback. Can throw and run. And they'll put it on the ground right off the bat. Sal Giglio, number 32, the senior tailback, with the call, and he gets just 1 yard, and it'll be 2nd down and 9. Now the D-back for the Eastchester Eagles. Matt Gabelli and Paul Petrillo will be the linebackers, along with Jimmy Handel. Mike Salvatore and Mickey Morgan on cornerback spots, and the D-back, number 82, is John DeAngelica. So 2nd down and 9. We've seen 1 pass already. That's not too surprising, though, is it? I know you coaches like to put it up early in games like this.
Well, it was a safe pass. It was to the flat. It was a look pass where the wide receiver would just go out about 4 yards, stop, turn, look to the quarterback, and catch the ball. Now, the last play that Rye ran, Robert Wilton, number 42, was in there and made a beautiful tackle. And I think that this game is just going to be fundamentally football. It's going to be, running from tackle to tackle, nothing fancy.
Riebling, play action, wants to throw. Little outlet pass. He completes it to Tommy Armas. Armas turns the corner and brings it up to the 42-yard line, and that looks to be good. for a Rye first down. The first of the ball game. And indeed it is good for a first down, a pickup of 10 yards on the catch.
Okay, here we have a pass into the flat again. There's a beautiful, well-thrown ball. There's Armis out in the flat. Good reception. As a matter of fact, all the receivers for Rye are good. Their passing game is much better than it's ever been before in previous years.
First and 10 from the 38-yard line of Rye. The Garnets with the football. No score in the first quarter. Bouncing off the tackle is Sal Giglio again. And Giglio gets it close to the 45-yard line. They'll spot it at the 44. That'll be a pickup of 5 yards. And it will be second down. Make it, well, they're giving them now 8 yards.
And here's the play. It's an I formation, isolation. What they're doing, the fullback is going up. That's Quinson. And he's making a block on the linebacker. And then a tailback will just run behind him. It's like a double team on the line, and then the backs are blocking the linebacker.
Second down and 2. Maybe a down Dino Gar can play with here at the 45-yard line. They'll go to the ground game. Giglio gets it again, breaks away from the tackle. Ball is loose on the field, and the Eagles have recovered. The second effort by Giglio is what really hurt him, and it's a tough thing to say, but if he had gone right down, the Garnets would have had a first down and the football, but with the second effort, as you are about to see, Rye coughs it up.
Now here we go, isolation again. Beautiful run, hit spin. Oh, what a beautiful hit right there. Number 58. That's Jim Scanlon coming up with the fumble recovery.
So Eastchester has it right at midfield. And it'll be first and 10 for the Eagles with just under 8 minutes to play in the first quarter, and we have no score. Burrows brings the club up. Wooten comes in motion to the near side. Burrows, penalty markers down. Burrows is in trouble, and down he goes. Sliding tackle made by the Garnets, and I believe that's Tommy Armis, number 14, who came flying across. Armis makes the stop, a loss on the play, but there is a penalty marker, and it looks like it'll go against the Eagles.
Armis is the outside linebacker. Now there's Butch Burrows, the quarterback, tripped up right there by Armis, coming across. In other words, the outside linebacker, when he sees that quarterback coming to him, that's a signal for that outside linebacker to go get the quarterback. The outside linebacker's rule is, ball comes my way, I go.
All right, as you can probably tell, it's going to be a long afternoon. A legal procedure call against the Eagles decline, and of course the Garnets defense is going to take the sack. A loss on the play, back to the 42-yard line, where it'll be second down and 18.
Out here, Armis, get out! Move it again!
Burrows a long snap count. Back to the ground game. Hole opens up off the middle as Tommy Armis, number 14, comes in to make the tackle as they gave the football away to Matt Gabelli, the tailback, number 40. Pickup of 7 yards.
Now here's the play. It's an isolation off left tackle. Picks up good yardage. Now Rye's defense, they're using a 4 front, and you'll also see them in a 6. It's an even defense, and Dino Gar is mixing it up, trying to catch the offensive line off guard and get them confused in their blocking assignments.
Ball loose on the turf. Burrows picks it up. Tommy Armis dumps it behind the line of scrimmage. A loss of 1 yard on the play. It'll bring up fourth down and 12. And that means the Eagles will be forced to punt the football away again.
And that's exactly what's going to happen. That ball is in the middle of the field. It's wet. It's muddy. It becomes like very slippery, like there's oil on it. So like I said in the pregame show, the exchange between the center and the quarterback, you have to be careful. The quarterback's going to have to sit there behind that center just a tenth of a second longer to make sure he has that ball.
All right, again, Burrows comes up to center. Wooten is deep at his own 40-yard line. Same play. They'll flip it to him. No rush at all. An end-over-end kick. Joe King takes it at his own 30-yard line. Hole opens up the middle, and King will finally go down at the 38-yard line. So Rye will have it. Their second possession of the day. This time from the 38 with exactly 6 minutes left to go in quarter number 1. A scoreless ball game thus far.
That's fundamentally sound. You see how King calls for this ball? He always wants the ball to be caught in the air. You don't let the ball bounce on the ground. Beautiful. Fundamentally sound. That's good football, catching it in the air.
All right, the Garnets come up first and 10 from their own 39-yard line. Both teams using sophomore quarterbacks. The pitch comes out to Gilio. Able to turn the corner. Close to the 45. It'll be spotted at the 43-yard line. And for Ryan, pick up of 3 yards.
Okay, Giglio does the pitch to the tailback to the, what we call the clear, the good side of the field. There's the pitch. Now, Giglio's coming around the end. Now, he's got good footing. It's wet out there, but the grass gives you that traction a little bit, and they're not running into the middle of the field because that's where you might slip and slide. I wouldn't be surprised if this is off tackle to the right or, again, to the right outside perimeter.
It is 2nd down and 7. And this time they try right up the middle to Tommy Armis. And Armis gets a couple of tough yards. Pickup of 2. And it'll be 3rd down and 6 as we have an injured player on the field. Here you get a look from the backfield. Armis seemed to be a little tentative in the backfield, handing it off.
Well, then we want to be sure that they get the ball. You have to, you know, it's not going to be as quick and sharp as you would like it on a clear day. So you want to make sure that the ball is right in the hands of the back, and you may have to look it in and really keep it there, the quarterback, and make sure that it's in the stomach so that he has it. If you start just handing the ball off and then you start going through your fake, and it may be just a little bit too early, and may cause a fumble. So they're playing with a little caution out there. It's not quick in the backfield. But again, it all boils down to the line right here. I mean, they're firing out, and this is where, you know, they're going to get muddy, but they love it.
All right, you saw Paul Petrillo leave the field under his own power. I'm sure we'll see him a little later on, number 30. Right now faced with a 3rd down and 6. And a patented Dino Gar trademark. We saw this countless times last year, especially in the Harrison game. It's the delay count and then shifting by the line, and that draws the defense off sides for a quick find.
Yeah, when the offensive line comes up, John, once they're down, their hand is down, they're not allowed to move. But the ends can. They can put their hand on the ground, then stand up and move out.
And lo and behold, the penalty has been called against the Garnets. And Dino Gar is coming out. He's called a timeout. So Rice used their first. And Dino is on the field and is going to discuss with the crew what exactly is the call. As we mentioned, we saw that all last year, and it always went against the defense.
Yeah, now, as a coach, John, you have a right to call a timeout. That's what you call a conference. You're having a conference with the officials, and it is a charged timeout to your team. Now, he wants to know exactly what happened, because the ends can get down, put their hand on the ground, they can stand up and move out.
All right, let's see maybe if we can listen to what's going on down on the field. You can't really hear too much. Just a lot of arguing going on between the crew. Give us an opportunity to tell you who'll be working today's game. We've already made a bit of news as we get started here early. David Binhack is our referee. Harry Barber is the umpire. Jack Leonardo is the lineman. And our favorite field judge is here today, Jim Ritz of Mount Vernon. Real good friends with his son Ronnie, who used to be the sports information director over at Iona College.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, I think all the officials are from Mount Vernon.
Probably right. All right, so Dino Gar not a police fan at all, as the call went against the Garnets, and they lost 5 on it, so it is now 3rd down and 10. As Gilio will come back into the ballgame, number 32.
You know, I'm going to favor the call. I'm going to favor the call that Dino Gar. I mean, he's correct. The ends can go down, they can get up, and they can move out. That's what you call an end shift, and he's right. You can do that. That's in the book.
So 3rd and 10. Gilio comes in motion to the near side. Riebling, straight drop back. Timing pattern down the sidelines. It's complete, but it's out of bounds. Jim Ritz right down on the play, and he says that Gilio did not have it in bounds. So the pass goes as incompletion, and Ryan's going to be forced to punt it away. Defense is playing tough for Eastchester early.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. It's a hard-hitting game. I mean, Eastchester came in there. They're fired up. They're looking for an upset. This is their bowl game. And they figure, like Coach Giraldi said, he's the assistant coach taking care of the backs and receivers. that if we can upset Rye, it'll be the biggest upset since Saunders upset Roosevelt 2 years ago, Thanksgiving Day.
Quick pitch to Joe King. He gets off a beauty. Robert Wooten fields it at his own 27-yard line, gets one block, cuts it up the middle of the field, and goes down at the 35-yard line, and another penalty marker is down.
So we have two flags, one at the line of scrimmage, and one
Flag back at the line of scrimmage, and then another one at the tackle. And take another look at it.
It's a beautiful punt. It's a nice spiral. There he is. There might be a return up the middle. There's no hole. He goes to the outside, comes back up into the middle, and he's tackled. I didn't see any piling on there. Now, the flag down here, I don't know what it could be, but they're having a little conference out there. They're talking to the Eastchester captain. That has to be Jason Kaplan. He's one of the tri-captains. Roy Howard is the tri-captain, and last week he was stepped on his foot. He has a bone bruise. Very difficult to push off, drive, running, carrying the ball, or even playing defense. So they're going to miss Roy Howard this afternoon.
All right, the penalty is going to be marched off against Eastchester.
penalty is against
And it is
Eastchester.
a 15-yarder. As the ball comes back to the 16-yard line.
The clipping penalty against Eastchester.
Flipping the call against the Eagles. And Eastchester will now have it 1st and 10. And the ball will be spotted at the 16-yard line. 4:07 left to play in the first quarter, and we have no score.
Okay, now the ball's in the middle of the field. They have Greg Pappalardo, 6'2", 230 pounds. They may come right over his head.
Gabelli with the call, and he is stacked up right at the line of scrimmage.
And they did. They came right over Pappalardo, but the Rye defense, I mean, they're reading very well. They're not really penetrating. They're not blitzing the linebackers. They're just hitting, controlling their man. They're reading where the ball is. They're pursuing. They're just like a rat pack. They just come right at you. You know, you get a team that allowed only 19 points in 7 games. You know, that's like a rat pack. They come right at you. They bite you. They hurt you and everything. That's the best defensive team in Section 1.
Second down and 11 now. Loss of 1 on the last carry. And again, the Eagles content to keep it on the ground, but they're not having too much success.
Okay, you see that, John? Everyone in the Rye defense was in on that tackle except 3 guys. And those were the defensive backs.
Gabelli with the call, and he picked up 2.
Tough defense. Oh, it is. There really is.
Third down and 9 now for Eastchester. Rye has only 1 first down in the first quarter. The Eagles are still looking for their first. We are scoreless with 2:41 remaining to play in a scoreless first quarter. Raining here at Nugent Stadium. It has been raining all day, sometimes rather heavy. And the middle of the field is a mess. Ball is loose, and it belongs to the Garnets. Tommy Armis, number 14, flops right down in the mud, and the ball is underneath him at the Eastchester 19-yard line.
See, this is what you have to do. You have to make things happen. Right here. Here's the snap. There's the fumble right there, and everything got to the back. Okay, you can see Butch Burroughs, as he was going to the back, he slipped. As he slipped, the ball came loose. But again, that Rye defense, they make things happen. They're in a good position here now. If they go in for a score, they're going to capitalize on this mistake. That is, Eastchester defense is going to have to get tough right here and stop the run. They're going to be very careful to pass, too. Their passing game is excellent for Rye.
Surhoff is flipped to the top of the screen. Riebling flips it out to Gillio. Looks to turn the corner. Does so. Gets it close to the 16-yard line, where that is a pickup of 3 yards. And it'll be second down and 7 for the Garnets.
Second and 7.
Ball now at the 16-yard line, 1:45 left to go in the first quarter.
This is a good call right here. There's a pitch to the tailback. There he's going. See, he's running on the good part of the field. He has some traction on the grass. They want to get into the middle of the field because of the mud. I wouldn't be surprised if they come back to the same play.
There it is. Gillio again. Armis is the lead blocker. Bounces off of a tackle. Stays on his feet. A great effort. And finally goes down at the 5-yard line. An excellent individual effort by Sal Gillio. And another injured Eagle is down on the turf.
and whoever it is, he lost his helmet on the play.
Now look at Giglio right here. Same play to pitch. Boom, he gets hit. Boom, again, he's on his feet. They're driving a pump. He's got good balance. He smells the goal line. He wants that score. Good leg drive. Tremendous power, not going down. And they're a winning team. They're like a championship team. They're going to find a way to win. And they're going to just drive and pound and twist and keep their balance, spin, get to that goal line. Number 42. 42, that's Robert Wilton.
His helmet came off, and he was still involved in the tackle even without the helmet on. So he's being helped off the sidelines, but is going off on his own power. But that is a 12-yard run by Giglio, and sets up a first down for Rye, a first and goal from the Eastchester 6-yard line, with 1:23 remaining to play in the first quarter.
I think it's going to just be fundamental, basic power football taking it in here.
It's Giglio again to the outside, and can't take away from the tackle as he goes down to the 4-yard line. Going on to the board dear life, trying to keep away the touchdown, number 24, Mickey Morgan.
Yeah, now Mickey Morgan, now watch this, watch him, watch Giglio run right there. Mickey Morgan right there, you see right on the leg. That's what you have to do. You have to get his legs, stop the legs from pumping and driving. Mickey Morgan's only a sophomore. He's playing offense, defense, specialties. He's going to be a great ball player in the future for Eastchester.
2-yard pickup for the Garnets, second and goal from the 4. This is Joe King, and King is down to the 1-yard line. It almost looked like he expected to be popped at the line of scrimmage and kind of lunged forward. If he was able to keep his balance, he might have gone in. But in any event, he is down to the 1.
Now, John, right here, you're so close. I wouldn't be surprised if you have a quarterback sneak. This way, you don't have any fumble. The ball just comes right to the quarterback and straight ahead. And you tell the guards, the offensive guards, to pinch into the center, and you form like a wedge, and you drive them out. The defense has to stay low.
Joe King in the air, and he is in. The referee on the far side has signaled touchdown, while the official on the near side says it is 4th down. And it is for a touchdown. A 1-yard run by Joe King. And with just 4 seconds left to go in the first quarter, Rye is on the board first.
Joe King catapult over the line. He just ran to the line. You take off with the explosiveness in your legs. You die over, and you break that plane. Once you break the plane, the goal line with the ball, it's a touchdown.
So Tommy Armis and Joe King setting up for the extra point. King is the kicker. Armis is the holder. For the extra point attempt. Ball is down. Kick is away and off the side of his foot and wide to the left-hand side. So with just 4 seconds remaining to play in the first quarter here at Nugent Stadium, the score now, Rye 6 and Eastchester nothing.
That Joe King is some athlete. He can play tailback, halfback. He's a wide receiver, split end. He could be a flanker, slot man, everything. He's so versatile, a great athlete, and he does it all. He'll kick extra points, field goals. And I said, John, remember in the pregame before the season we had a show, I really felt that Joe King was like a most valuable player because of his versatility. And then now we come here, it's the 7th game, and he's doing so well, 8th game, and he's making me look good for what I said. So thank you, Joe.
You also said this is the year of the quarterback, throw for 6 and 86.
And I also said that Roy Haney, the defensive tackle for Rye, is going to be a great ball player, and he is a Division I prospect. But I would think that if he is recruited, that the coaches at a Division I school to make him a center. And at 6'1", 250 pounds, that's not bad size for an offensive center.
King with a line drive kick, and we have a penalty marker on the play. That's going to be that Rye is offside on the kickoff. Somebody crossed the 40-yard line before King hit the football, so that'll be another 5-yard penalty against the Garnets, and they will have to re-kick this one from the 35-yard line.
You know, Gunnar Huber for Rye is a 3-year starter. He's got to be a great ball player. He's a guard and a defensive end. So you know that when they're going to run the ball, they're going to go behind Gunnar. And then they have a 2-year starter, Mark Weingarb. He's a senior, 6 foot, 200 pounds at tackle. So What I'm trying to say, it's a senior-oriented team. They've been together. They work hard. They're hungry. They want victory. They're undefeated. You know, it doesn't end here. It just keeps going. But
matter of fact, they have what we believe to be the actual longest winning streak, active streak now in Section 1 at 17 games. They were 9-0-1 a year ago, and right now 6-0-1.
That's right, John. They are. Now, Eastchester's playing good, hard football. They're going to have to just keep at it because, you know, a fumble, they can have a good drive, and they can tie this game up.
It's another roly-poly kick. Comes up to one of the upbacks for the Eagles, and he breaks away from everyone and goes across the 50 down to the 44-yard line of Rye. John DeAngelico with the football, or Mickey Morgan, I believe that is. It is number 24.
That's the sophomore.
And Morgan brings it all the way across. And that's going to do it for the first quarter here at Rye Stadium. We're going to take a short break, and when we return to more of the game of the week, the Eagles are going to have it 1st and 10 in Rye territory with the Garnets leading by a score of 6-0.
You know, John, it's great to have so many fine subscribers.
Stadium, John Corridio along with Ray Karowski for the high school football game of the week. And at the end of the first quarter of play, it is Rye 6 and Eastchester nothing. And the touchdown coming off on a fumble recovery by the Garnets deep in Eagle territory. And Joe King finished it up with a 1-yard touchdown run.
Out there talking to the Eastchester offense is Bill Giraldi. Now, he was a quarterback, played for me, and his first year as a coach was when Eastchester went and they won the bowl game against Brewster. I mean, that's a good way to start off. And then Eastchester has Tim Bonsi, Harry Milano. Their coach is Joe Lucci is the assistant coach. He works with the backs. Tony Frazzillo is the offensive coordinator. They have all the ball players that either played for me or they played for Eastchester.
So from the 44-yard line of Rye, the Eagles with great field position open it up 1st and 10. And Burrows with his first pass attempt of the day, and he completes it all the way down to the 30-yard line. And making the reception for the Eagles, number 80, and that's Mike Salvatore.
And there's motion. That Burrows brought back. Beautiful pass right there. There's a beautiful catch. Well-thrown ball, executed, concentrated the ball right into his hands. Comes up. You see, they're not giving up. Even though they're down by 6 points, they're not giving up. They're staying into this ball game. They're motivated. They have a desire to win.
At the 30.
Their first down of the ball game. They have it at the Rye 30-yard line, right up the middle again. This time it goes to Robert Wooten, number 42, and Wooten able to get it right back to the line of scrimmage, and that's it. It'll be 2nd down and 10 from there.
The middle of that line of Rye is tough. From tackle to tackle, it's going to be difficult. You can't really have trap plays. There's motion. There's right to the fullback. The hole is clogged up. There's nowhere to go. It's hard in this kind of weather without getting your footing to have a good trap play because the man has to really pull out quickly, have the traction, hit the man, dig him out to create the hole. It's going to be difficult running up the middle.
Loosen up, Mark! Loosen up!
2nd down and 10. Burrows again, straight drop back. Lost the handle as he tried to get the football away, and it falls incomplete. Just in front of the intended receiver, John DeAngelico, number 82.
That's that look pattern right here where John will just go down 4 yards, turn around, look to the quarterback, get the ball. What they're doing, he's just putting the man in motion to the right, and then they're throwing left.
3rd and 9.
It'll be 3rd down and 10 for the Eagles with 10:56 left to go in the second quarter. Rye leads 6-0.
The ball is slippery.
Salvatore split to the near side. Burrows gets good protection, throws towards the sidelines, and it is incomplete. Almost intercepted by Joe King. And if he picks that one up, he goes the length of the field. Mike Salvatore, the intended receiver.
See, that's a dangerous pass right here because you go into the flat to the opposite side. That's the wide side of field. Now, that ball takes a long time to get there. Joe King almost had it. You see Mike Salvatore get hit right after that? Once that ball is touched, you know, you can clean someone's clock after that.
And that's exactly what they did all the way down to the mainspring.
And that's what you want to do. You want to clean clocks once in a while so that next time he goes out for a pass, you know, he hears footsteps.
Right. So Eastchester looks like they will go for it on 4th down. from the 30-yard line. This is Wooten in motion. And Burrows again. Straight drop back. Heavy pressure, throws it up for grabs, and it is incomplete. Threw it towards the sideline. It looked like DeAngelica was his intended receiver, but he brought it back to the inside of the field. So it goes as an incompletion, and Rye will get the ball on the change of downs. 1st and 10 from their own 30.
See, the Rye defense is coming very hard on that last play, and that to me is the best pass defense. You apply pressure. I watch these pro games sometimes. I see them have a 3-man rush. You know, that's their pass defense. You got to apply pressure. 4 or 5 guys. Send them. Get that quarterback, you know, to pick it. Release that ball a little bit earlier. Now, pro football is like a volleyball game on a 100-yard field. They're pass and pass and pass. This is what you like. You like the blood and guts, the running game.
This is Tommy Armis in motion. And getting the football for the first time in today's ballgame, Chris Quinton, number 44, the big fullback. And Quinton picks up 3, and it'll be 2nd down and 7.
Chris Quinton is a devastating ball player on his right team. He's a leading well, look at him run right up the middle. He's the leading tackler on his team. Now, I'm talking about a 1st or a 2nd hit. He has over 100 of those so far. I mean, he's in everything. He's got quick feet. He has that desire, the knack, the nose for the ball. He's a great ball player. That Quinton.
2nd and 7. Riebling hands the football away.
Jerome Kenny, the ball
Jerome
carrier.
Kenny, number 42, with the call. And Kenny gets 1 yard, and that's it.
See, those linemen are playing tough in there. The linemen are tough. There's the shot of the line right there. They fire out. They're coming. They're all dirty. That might have been Jose Valentin on that tackle. I can't see any numbers. You have Papalardo's in there. You have Jason Kaplan. Scanlon. They're playing good, tough defense here. They came here to play good, hard football. That's their reputation. Eastchester are hitters.
Armis in motion. Riebling with a play action. Down the sideline of the field. Incomplete. Intended receiver was Joe King. Give a lot of credit to the sophomore. He puts that ball where if it isn't caught, it's not going to be intercepted.
Yep, that's a sideline pattern. It's a play action, little fake, just the whole linebackers there. He's throwing it right to the sideline, and the receiver's coming down, and he'll catch it right there, maybe a foot away from the sideline, get the reception, and streak down into the end zone. You got to pinpoint that pass. It's got to be right there. You got to work on it. You got to practice it all the time.
So it is 4th down. The pitch to King. He strips as he kicks it, and the ball is loose. That's a live ball. Robert Wooten finally gets the handle, slips away from one tackle, but he will go down at the 33-yard line.
See, that's what I was talking about. You have to catch that ball on the fly. You can't let it bounce around. You have to go get it. Once it bounces, it may go to the right or to the left. It goes between your legs. You may lose it. When you're practicing, as a coach, you tell them, catch the ball on the fly.
9:07 remaining to play in quarter number 2. The Garnets leading the Eagles 6-0 on a 1-yard touchdown run by Joe King in the final seconds of the first quarter. Eastchester has the football again. This is their 5th possession already in the game. Butch Burrows, the quarterback. That's the sophomore. Wooten comes in motion to the near side. Burrows again drops back. Little sideline route, and it's completed. Joe King makes the tackle, but making a reception, Mike Salvatore, number 80. And Salvatore up to the 39-yard line, pick up a 5 yards.
Mike had a beautiful reception on this. It's into the nice side of the field where you have some traction. There's a sprint out pass. Now Mike comes up. He's concentrating on the ball. Good reception, makes it, and the tackle's made. Now, you can't run too well against the right defense. You have Haney, Johnson in there, Stravities. Now, they're tough defensive line. The passes are working for Eastchester into the flat.
2nd and 5. This is Gavelli. And he pulls his way forward very close to a 1st down as the ball looks to be spotted at the 44-yard line. Makes the 44 and a half, and that's good enough for the 1st down. Pick up a 6.
Okay, here's the handoff right here off left tackle. Gavelli's running hard. He's only a junior. Coach DiArco has 16 ball players. They'll be back for next year. Gabelli's a good hard runner, power. He'll try to run over people.
Tom Cottespati, the middle linebacker, made the stop. But Eastchester with a 1st and 10 from their own 45-yard line.
Good job.
Looks like Robert Wooten with the call. It is nearly impossible at this point to pick out the Eagles in any event. Rye numbers are showing up a little bit under the mud.
This is a power I formation going off right guard, I'm sorry, and just power football. What you want to do is just try to find a little seam just to break it. There's no traction out there for these linemen, but I'm sure they love it. They know you really like to play this kind of weather.
Petrillo comes in motion. Burrows rolls out to the inside. Throws incomplete. Salvatore, the intended receiver again, but the ball a little high. Joe King and Mark Sturhoff coming in to complete the play as it goes out of bounds incomplete.
Now he's sprinting out to the right. He sees his receiver. There's Mike. He goes up a little bit too high and he gets hit immediately in the back. Now, you know, I like the linemen, you know, in this kind of a game, you know, you have the wet, you have the mud, you're rolling around. They like this kind of game. You know, the linemen from Eastchester and Rye, probably this morning they pack their lunch pail, you know, they're all set. They go to the game. They say, Coach, okay, let's go. We got to go to work. You know, this is it.
Oh, a timeout on the field taken by Eastchester. That's their second. They'll have one more remaining before the end of the half. 7:03 left to go. Let's take a look at some of the other games being played around Section 1 on a rainy weekend. Ramapo is over at New Rochelle. Unfortunately for the Purple Wave, it's homecoming for them. That'll put a damper on it. Big ball game this afternoon. Iona Prep at Mount St. Michael. And that one in the CHSFL playoffs. Scarsdale will be at White Plains. That's a big game. If the Raiders come up a winner there, they could clinch at least a tie for the League 7 championship. Mamaroneck is at Yorktown, Ardsley is at Pelham, Woodlands at Tappan Zee, and Croton is at Bronxville this afternoon. There are also 7 other games being played around Section 1 this afternoon. Edgemont is at Nanuet, Briarcliff is at Tuckahoe. We understand that Pleasantville has already beaten Rhinebeck, a game that took place at 11 o'clock this morning. The Panthers upsetting the Panthers. Pleasantville over Rhinebeck. Valhalla's at Dobbs, Irvington at Hastings, St. Agnes is at Stepanak on Sunday, and Hamden Hall and Rye Country Day. We'll try to get a score for you on that one. That game was played on Friday. 3rd down and 8 now for the Eagles. Burrows, again straight drop back. Good protection. Down the sidelines, has the receiver, incomplete. John DeAngelica again with the catch down to the right 28-yard line.
Here's a great pass by Butch Burrows. In the pocket, steps in, the ball's thrown. John DeAngelica really concentrating on the ball, comes up with a key reception. 30-yard pass completion, and the Eagles have their 3rd first down of the game, and it is at the right 28-yard line. 6:56 left to go, second quarter. Eagles trail 6-0. The passing game is working very well for Eastchester right now at this point.
Petrillo, or that's Mickey Morgan, pardon me, 24. He goes into motion, and the football goes to Robert Wooten, the fullback, and Wooten maybe a yard, not even. Right back to the line of scrimmage. It'll be 2nd and 10. Surprised at how Eastchester is able to throw the football?
I am surprised because Rye's got a good defensive backfield. They cover well. What's happening? They're just giving a little bit too much space in between the receivers. Because what happens, if you're 4 or 5 yards away, then you're like playing, okay, let him catch it and I'll make the tackle. You got to stay a little bit closer to that receiver, take the gamble, and go up for the interception or knock it down.
Morgan again in motion. Burrows wants to put it up again. Slip. Now he's in trouble. And down he goes. Roy Haney, number 70, with the sack. That is his second. Actually, the team's second, his first. And Haney brings the Eagles back to the 41.
Now, Haney is 6'1", 250 pounds. But there's a little slip by Butch Burrows. Here comes Haney, right there, right through. You have to block him, double team him. The double team, you got to keep him out of that offensive backfield.
3rd and
Clock continues to roll. 5:35 left to go. Second quarter, Rye leads 6-0.
Too many guys! Too many guys! Not a time!
And Eastchester's got trouble. They have too many men on the field, and they're going to have to take a timeout, and that will be their third. So they have already used all 3 timeouts in the first half, and we'll hold it up with 5:25 left to go in the second quarter. Take a look at the latest edition of the Cable 3 Sports High School Football Top 10. And since our attention this afternoon has turned to the sports small schools, that's what we will show you at this juncture of the game. Rye leading the way, our number 1 team among the small schools at 6-0-1. Right behind them, Portchester, also at 6-0-1. And that tie, strangely enough, right here at Nugent Stadium when Rye played Portchester and finished up in a 7-7 tie. Irvington is at number 3. They're unbeaten at 7-0. John Jay of Katona Lewisboro is at 4. Bronxville is at 5. Rhinebeck is 6, but we understand they've already been beaten this afternoon by Pleasantville. J.F. Kennedy is at 7. Dobbsbury is at 8. They'll be playing Hastings this afternoon. Byram Hills at 6-1, and leading League 7 so far in this, as we get towards the end of the season, is at number 9. And the Huskies of Harrison make their first appearance in the top 10, as they are at number 10. And we should mention that coming up at halftime this afternoon, Ray Krause and I are going to take a look at both of the polls, see if we can narrow down the teams that may get down to Memorial Field the last couple of weeks in November.
That's right, John. They're going to have a meeting, next Sunday?
Next Sunday.
Right.
The 16th to decide who will play who and where. 5:25 left. Third down and 22 for the Eagles. Burrows. Controlled rollout to the far side. Nobody there except for Garnets. Number 75, Nick Stoverian with the sack. Number 3 for the Garnet defense. And that brings the ball back to Eastchester territory. Well, they're going to spot it in Rye territory at the 49.
Here's Stravides. He's got good speed. He sheds a blocker, comes right in and makes a tackle. So I remember last year his brother Jimmy was the most valuable player in the bowl game. And I was talking to Nick just before the game, and he said his brother's in college studying electrical engineering.
Quick kick! Quick kick!
Excellent in math.
There it is!
And again, the quick kick. Wooten. High kick. Chases Armis all the way back to his 10-yard line, and down he goes. Lost his footing as he tried to make the cut and come back up to the middle of the field. So Rye has been pinned back now. They'll have it 1st and 10 at their own 13-yard line. Clock is stopped with 4:37 left to go in the second quarter. We're coming up to the 4-minute warning. There you get a good look at Joe King. He's been injured a couple of games during the season. Twisted an ankle earlier this year. And talking to Dino Gar during the pregame show, and he had mentioned that King is one of those guys who loves to play and will be here every Saturday no matter what.
Yeah, he's a talented athlete, and if he's 100% healthy, I don't know, but he is really playing well today.
Riebling wants to air this one out. And it's a completed great one-handed grab. Martin Earhoff, number 9, brings it up to midfield. One-handed catch. Now that's what you call total concentration looking at that ball. He just cushioned it, just like he was an outfielder in baseball, brought it right down, comes up with the reception, and they get out of bad field position. 33-yard pass completion, and now a whistle on the field as we have our 4-minute warning. We'll hold everything up here at Nugent Stadium, and when we return, Rye will have the lead 6-0, and we'll also have it 1st and 10 from their own 40. Are selling tickets here this afternoon, and not a bad crowd has showed up today for a game that's being played in the rain and the mud and muck of Nugent Stadium. We have 4 minutes left to go in the second quarter with Rye leading Eastchester 6-0. I'm taking a look down on the sidelines to head coach Dino Gar. Our field manager today, Becky Petfield, really got the head coach on the arm with her construction flag. And we'll have to see if the coach is all right when the game is over. He's a tough one, though. I know he'll come back. Riebling throws it outside. Gillios turned the corner, left the blockers in front of him, and he brings it down to Eastchester territory at the 46-yard line. He'll be 2 yards shy of the first down today.
That's a pitch to the tailback right here. There's the pitch. Now he's got the blockers in front of him. He wants to get over him. He jumps up, and then he's tackled.
So Rye with a hurry-up offense.
Now, John, the interesting thing is you have Riebling, the quarterback, sophomore for Rye, sophomore quarterback for Eastchester, Butch Burroughs. They're going to meet again next year and the year after.
Gilio again, same call. Blockers in front of him, and he brings it down to the 35-yard line, and that'll be good for another first down. 12-yard pickup.
They're running to the side of the field that they have the traction. They have the grass. Same play. There's the pitch. He's going to come right on that grass. He'll get the blocking. Needs a little bit more blocking to break it loose.
3:05 and counting. Left to go, second quarter. Rye leads 6-0, looking for another score.
So you get on that grass, you can put your little two-point sign. Stop and go.
Riebling, play action. Look towards the sidelines. Incomplete. Looking for Mark Surhoff, but that one sailed out of bounds. And that will stop the clock now with 2:55 left.
Okay, you have second down. Now, Eastchester's going to have to be careful defensively. They have to watch that side of the field that's dry, where they have the traction. They may come again with that power. You pull a guard, and they start leading it, and you start blocking to the inside, and then the tailback's going to go right on this good traction grass, and he may take it in.
Dino Garnets, second season back as head coach of the Rye Garnets, an alum, graduated from Rye High School. And there's a quick pass, and Surhoff trying to make a cut to come back to the football. Lost his footing and went down, so that will go as an incompletion. And we'll bring up a third down and 10 for the Garnets.
So you want a dry ball. You got to keep that ball dry. You got to have a towel man on the sideline and wipe that ball dry all the time.
Might be able to see, I don't know, the cut. Well, you'll see there Surhoff at the end of the play go down. But the pass to the outside part, and Riebling a little too far ahead of it as Rye takes the timeout. That will be their second.
The Rye JV team, they beat Eastchester this morning 20-6.
There's John DiArco, former assistant football coach under the gentleman sitting right next to me in the heyday and glory days of the Eagle football program.
Yeah, it's funny you mention that because Coach Hancrow, that's Jerry Hancrow, he's the JV coach at Eastchester now. He did coach at Rye, and he was my JV coach also. And I know in 10 years I had 33 shutouts, and Jerry Hancrow in his 10 years had 38 shutouts with the JV team. But then again, we use the same defense. I said, this is a good defense, and he's a great coach. He coached here at Rye under Bedini. And then now Bedini builds a little foundation. John Nugent comes by. He starts building the structure. Now Dino Guard. The tradition keeps going on. Nugent Stadium, you come here like John Nugent to Rye is like what Bear Bryant is to Alabama.
Very good analogy. You're absolutely right.
What a gentleman.
Oh, delightful man.
I really like John a lot. I coached against him. The year we won the bowl game, we tied 12-12. I have so much respect for him. What a gentleman.
From the 36-yard line, Riebling throws, completes it to Surhoff, and Surhoff is held right at the 25-yard line, and that'll be good for a first down. Pickup of 11 yards on the completion. Now, you might notice something there. Surhoff made the catch, and running down along the sidelines was Joe King. Watch later on in the game for that same play with the pitch.
Yeah, see Mark Surhoff, he runs out and then he puts his back to the defender and he just wants to be in front to catch the ball, and the ball comes right into his chest.
Armand goes in motion, but they give the football to Quinton, and Chris, the fullback, down to the 20-yard line. That'll be a pickup of 5 yards. Clock continues to roll, 2:24 left to go in the second quarter, and Rye again with a hurry-up offense.
Now, Eastchester's going to have to play tough defense. When they make the tackle, get up slowly. Don't let him have it. Okay, they got rid of the ball there. But if Rye does run the ball and they make the tackle, you get up slowly, chew off the clock, get the time down because they're getting too close to that goal line. And in the back of your mind, you have to also think that Rye has the capability of kicking a field goal. And they also may have a fake off the field goal. So there's so many things that you have to keep in mind, and if the intensity is so strong and maybe a little nervousness on the Eastchester part, they may overreact and get caught.
Third down and 5 now for the Garnets. The ball is at the Eastchester 20-yard line. 2:13 left to go in the first half. Riebling throws it outside. This is Joe King. Big hole opens up for King, and he's down to the 10-yard line.
You're on the 8-yard line.
They'll spot it at the 9, and that will be good for a first down pickup of 11.
Okay, here's a sweep, like a Green Bay sweep. Everybody's going to the left. They're blocking. Beautiful run. You see, they don't want to run around or juke. They just want to go right through people.
First and goal from the 9. King again. And he lowers his head and gets it down to the 5-yard line. Be a little shy of that, put it at the 6. Pick up a 4 yards for King.
Now, King's a hard, powerful, punishing runner. He sees somebody, he doesn't want to give him a little fake or anything. He just wants to go right through you. You see right here, he goes, wants to go right through people. And that was a good tackle right there. You got to stay low, wrap around the leg.
Second down and goal from the 6-yard line. Winston is the fullback, Gilio is the tailback. And this will be Sal Gilio, number 32. Looks for a hole up the middle of the field. Bounces off of a tackle, finds an opening, and goes in. Oh, another incredible individual effort by the tailback, but there is a penalty marker on the play. Jim Ritz talking it over with our referee, and the penalty is against Eastchester and it's declined the touchdown stand. 6-yard run with a minute 19 to go, and here it is again.
Now, here's Gasol right here. Watch his second effort. He's stopped, jammed up, comes out, maintains his foot speed, has his balance, gets into the end zone. You see the poise he has in the end zone? He doesn't throw the ball, jam it down, spike it or anything. Gets right down on his knees, blesses himself a little bit, but the important thing is he wanted to get into that goal line.
All right, Rye has taken there another timeout. This will be their third and final timeout of the half. And I would imagine Dino Gar is going to set up for the 2-point conversion after he missed the extra point after the first touchdown. Team leads 12-0 with a minute 19 remaining to play in the second quarter.
Yeah, Dino will go for the 2. Right here, it's very important. See, that ball, you have to also consider the ball is wet, it's slippery, and if you're going to go for an extra point, you're not going to do it in the middle of the field. You tell the official, put on a hash mark, to the right or to the left because of all the mud and the water. Then when the center does snap it, the mud makes it like oil on the ball, it's slippery. Then the holder has to put it down correctly, and too many mistakes can happen. So right here, we'll go for 2. And hopefully that we can make it. That's what he's thinking. Now, Coach DiArco's out there with Eastchester defense. He's telling them to stay low, penetrate. Don't let him find the seam. He's talking to the official there. Something's up.
All right, John will head back to the sideline. Well, you can, I think if I'm hearing right, you can hear it. The sound of that slushing sound. They walk on the field. It's really wet. All right, the Garnets will go for 2. Leading 12-0. Armis is in motion. They fake it to him. Riebling still has it. Now he'll try to take it himself, and he gets in. So the sophomore quarterback with the 2-point conversion.
Not a bad call. Excellent call. He told Riebling, I don't have you throw the ball. There's a bootleg pass. He's got the option now. Throw it, run it in. If you see daylight, take it. Just take it right in. You see the goal line, dive in. Now, what he did, by faking to the man coming around, it held the defensive back. They can't cover man for man because they're coming in to make a tackle. Now he goes around. He can throw the pass. That's the one option, or he can run. So he sees a little daylight. He takes it in for the 2 points. Excellent call by Dino Gar. He's a field general out there, like directing your troops in battle. Coach Patton, maybe? Yeah, when you're not a football coach, you're a field general.
1:19 left to go in the second quarter with Rye leading Eastchester 14-0. The Garnets hoping to remain unbeaten. They have one more regular season game, and as we heard last year, that's the battle for all 3 worlds. It's Rye Harrison next week over at Harrison.
The granddaddy rivalry in the state of New York.
Well, the kick is off. Armis lost his shoe after he made the kick, as the ball was taken by one of the up linemen, and he brings it back across the 40-yard line. So Armis is going to have to get his shoe back on. And Eastchester will have it 1st and 10 from their own 46-yard line. But remember, they have no timeouts remaining And we have a minute 15 left to play.
You're going to see the shoe right here. It almost goes farther than the ball. Now, here's the wedge right up the middle. You see that wedge? Of course, just like, you know, the wedges, you know, you're splitting wood. They're just jamming everything right up there and hoping that the back sees a little crease and to get through and to go in for the score. Now, don't forget, this pack-rat defense of Rye, they have a lot of pride. They only gave up 19 points. They're going to be in here playing tough and hard, mean, nasty football all afternoon.
Gabelli tries to sweep to the far side. Eastchester keeps the ball on the ground. They don't have a way to stop the clock without going out of bounds. And pick up a 4 yards for Gabelli. And it'll be second down and 6. Clock still rolling down to 30 seconds left to play.
Ball's at the 48. Second down.
I think I really, it's really the rat pack defense.
Rat pack.
A rat pack. And
Junkyard
then when they get close to the goal line, then they bring in the desert rat.
Gabelli again. And Gabelli gets another 2 yards. And Eastchester trying to get back on the line of scrimmage, see if they can get one more play off before the end of the half. They're going to have to hustle. We're down to 5 seconds.
At midfield.
And they didn't make it. That's the end of the first half. Eastchester unable to get one more play off. Remember, they didn't have any timeouts left. But a pretty good first half. Eastchester played himself. So the Garnets of Rye have the lead by a score of 14-0. In just a moment, Ray Karowski and I will be back as we're going to discuss the Section 1 Bowl possible. Stadium, the site of the latest edition of the Cable 3 Sports High School Football Game of the Week. And after the first 24 minutes of action, it's the Garnets of Rye leading the Eagles of Eastchester by a score of 14-0. Now, since we've had some rather rotten weather here this afternoon, both of the high school marching bands have decided to forego their halftime performances this afternoon, and that gives us a good opportunity for Ray and myself to discuss a little bit about the possible Section 1 bowl possibilities that'll be coming up, will be announced 1 week from Sunday. And to get started, let's first of all start with the small school top 10, and we can get the top named schools and then have a chance to go over it. As we showed you earlier, Rye is at 1, Portchester 2, Irvington 3, John Jay 4, Bronxville 5, Rhinebeck 6, J.F. Kennedy is 7, Dobbs Ferry 8, Byram Hills is 9, and Harrison is at number 10. Now we're going to have 2 Class C bowls this year and 3 Class B bowls this season. Those teams there are probably the ones that we're going to see in the bowl games. What about possibility matchups? I was talking earlier with Dino Gar. I think, and I may be able to speak with some of the fans here, they'd like to see a Rye-Portchester rematch in the bowl game. That was the 7-7 tie played here at Nugent Stadium a couple of weeks ago. That might be a pretty good ball game again.
I think the ball players want that game also because it will be the league championship right there. It will show who is the better of the two teams. Now, I can understand that, but I truly feel that since they have John Jay ranked number 1, this is the paper, they're ranked in the state. Now, Rye is second. Now, the matchup could be and should be John Jay and Rye. Now, Rye goes into that game, they come out victorious. They are number 1. There's no doubt about it because they knock off the number 1 team.
All right, what about the C schools? Possibility that Dobbs Ferry may not appear in a bowl game this year.
That is a possibility, but I have a strong feeling they will be in the bowl game.
Okay.
I really feel that Rhinebeck, after losing today, they have a paper loss from what I read in the paper. I really don't understand it that well, but that gives them 3 losses.
All right, and then
Dobbs Ferry will be in there with Irvington, Bronxville.
Now, those two are playing next week
Yeah,
on Cable
and
3.
we have them right.
So that could be a matchup of 2 bowl teams. All right, let's take a look at the large schools. As we told you, there'll be 3 bowl games in that one as Pat Burke tries to get warm along the sidelines. Kingston is at number 1, unbeaten at 7-0, the only remaining large school still without a loss. North Rockland is right back in it. They're at number 2. Scarsdale is at 3. They have a big game against White Plains today. Iona Prep is at 4. Of course, they will not figure in the Section 1 Bowl Championship. Roosevelt is at 5. White Plains is 6. Mahopac 7. Fox Lane is at 8. Suffern 9. And Mount Vernon number 10. And probably the first thing that you noticed immediately is that the lower Westchester schools not faring as well this year as they did last year in Section 1.
Yeah, it's surprising because I really feel that the coaches in the Cable 3 viewing area are probably the best coaches around. I talked to all of them, and their strategy is excellent. They're fundamentally sound. They have their teams execute. But you're talking about going across the river. There's North Rockland up north. There's Kingston. And all those teams that you just showed, they will be in a bowl game. Scarsdale, well coached, execute well. They are in a Cable 3 area. And I wouldn't be surprised if the coach of the year comes out of the Cable 3 viewing area.
I think so.
I really do, because you have Palladino at Scarsdale. You have Dino Gar at Rye here. You know, every one of them are great coaches, and they do a tremendous job. And Joe Casserell at North Rockland, he does a tremendous job. It's a large school. They get like 100 ball players to come out. So, you know, that's a plus. It's excellent. Roosevelt. I mean, Tony DiMattio's the winningest active coach in the state of New York. He does a tremendous job. You're talking about, I mean, these coaches are college caliber coaches. The parents should be proud and pleased that their children, or I hate to call them children, or young men,
yes,
you know, being coached by such fine people.
All right, remember that the selection will be held next Sunday, November 16th, and if you watch the extra points following that on Tuesday night, we will have all of the bowl lineups and selections for you. And we hope we get a few of our Cable 3 teams in that, and we'll be bringing you those games from Memorial Field. Right here at Nugent Stadium on our Game of the Week, the score is Rye 14, Eastchester nothing. We'll take another short break, and then we'll return with a look at the numbers that the teams put up after the first half and the scoring sheet when we return here at Cable. Good afternoon on a high school football Saturday in Westchester. And at the end of the first half, the Garnets of Rye leading the Eagles of Eastchester by a score of 14-0. And now we want to show you what the numbers were put up in that first half of action. And it was Rye leading the way, as you might expect, with the 14-point lead. 132 total yards in offense, 78 of them on the ground. The leading ball carrier on the day for the Garnets, number 32, Sal Giglio, with 48 of the 78 yards. Yards passing, the sophomore is 2 of 8 through the air for 54 yards. Or make that 3 of 8, that's my fault. 3 of 8 for 54 yards and a grand total of 132. For the Eagles, they've only been able to amass 26 yards on the ground. Paul Gavelli's the leading ball carrier here. He had 22. Burrows was 4 of 8 through the air for 56 yards, so a grand total of 82, well below the mark set by the Garnets in that first half. There were 3 first downs by the Eagles, 4 for the Garnets, each team with a fumble in that first half. And the Eagles had the ball longer than Rye in that first half, 13 minutes and 10 seconds to 10 minutes and 50 seconds. The scoring, rather simple on the scoring pages. 2 touchdowns by Rye. They opened it up with 4 seconds left in the first quarter. Joe King on a 1-yard run. The extra point was no good, and Rye led 6-0. And then with just a minute 19 left to play in the second period, it was Sal Giglio with a 6-yard run. They went for the 2-point conversion, Riebling bringing it in, the quarterback, and that made the score 14-0 in favor of the Garnets. And that's where we stand here at halftime as the teams are getting set to come back out onto a very wet field at Nugent Stadium. But the Garnets hold the lead. They're up 14-0, and we'll have quarter number 3 when we return after this message with more of the Cable 3 Sports high school football. Starting to roll in now. At least it isn't snowing. We had that a year ago when we did the Rye-Harrison game right here at Nugent Stadium. But it's still sloppy out here. Not raining nearly as hard, but it is getting foggy now. The field is still very muddy, very wet, and we've still got a pretty good ball game. Eastchester is playing tough, hanging in there. They're down 14-0. Have had a couple of scoring opportunities in that first half, but kind of ran out of steam as they got towards the end of the drive down inside the 30. But we all know, and you will echo those sentiments as the head coach, you get down there, those are the toughest yards to pick up.
They certainly are, and I know when I was coaching, I had a special offense that was called a 20-yard line and in offense, and they were just special plays set up to get into that end zone, because you don't have that much room to operate. The defense is playing tough. They're covering everything perfectly well, and they are the toughest yards. And you got to give Eastchester a lot of credit. I mean, they're hanging in there. They're playing tough. They're playing against one of the best defenses in Section 1. You're looking at the right defense. They only allowed 19 points, and out of those 19 points, 6 were given up by the third string in one game. So there's a lot of pride defensively.
I think we got another message. The Rye cheerleaders are going to put them to work. That's what I like. More promo material. The Rye great cheerleaders who have braved the conditions this afternoon, as did the Eastchester cheerleaders. They're also here on the far side of the field. And as you can see, the teams are out on the field getting set to start the third quarter. It will be Eastchester kicking off to Rye. The Garnets lead 14-0 with the opening series of the third quarter about to commence. Remember, the Eagles at 3-4. John DeArc a little disappointed, but has had a lot of problems during the season with injuries and lack of numbers.
Yeah, they had John Russ, his starting quarterback. 2 weeks ago, he broke 3 bones in his foot. You know, that's a great loss. You know, you lose a quarterback, you know, in the middle of the season. It's difficult starting off with a new one, but they're doing a good job.
All right, here we go. Third quarter action, and it's an onside kick. It's loose on the field, recovered by the Garnets. So Eastchester tried a little trick. That one a little hard, I believe. If it had bounced off one of the up linemen, it might have been a good play. But Rye will have it 1st and 10, and the ball will be at their own 35-yard line. So again, we refresh your memory as to the starting unit for the Rye Garnets. Their quarterback is the sophomore. He wears number 10 on his back, and his name is Steve Riebling. Chris Quinton is the fullback, Joe King the tailback, Tommy Armis the wingback, and the split end is Mark Surhoff. On the offensive line for the Garnets, Mark Weintraub, Gunnar Huber, Brian O'Mara, Tom Leary, and the tackle is Tom Cataspati. 1st and 10 from the 35-yard line. For the Garnets, they lead 12-0. Riebling gives the football away. Giglio, number 32, trips up at the 40-yard line and able to fall forward ahead to the 43, a gain of 8, and it'll be 2nd down and 2 for the Garnets. Defensively for the Eastchester Eagles, they have the 5-man front. Rob Wooten, Joe Valentine, Jim Scanlon, Craig Papalardo, and Billy Sabatino. The D-backs for the Eagles, 3 linebackers, Gabelli, Petrillo, and Handel. Mike Salvatore and Mickey Morgan are the corners, and John DeAngelica is the safety, number 82. 2nd and 2 for the Garnets. They'll keep it on the ground. Giglio turns the corner, has the 1st down, and is forced out of bounds at the 48-yard line of Rye, and that'll be another pickup of 4 yards for the tailback, and we'll bring up a 1st and 10. 1st down number 5 for the Garnets.
At the 48.
Sal Giglio's running with great intensity, good desire. Look at him go right to the sideline. He's just hustling and doing everything he possibly can. He's just runs with great desire. You can see it. And once he finds a seam or a crack, look out. He's going right through with full speed, just like a razor blade. He's back there deep, and just with good speed.
And this will go to Chris Quinton. Nobody in front of him and climbing out at the Eastchester 30-yard line. Quick opener to the fullback. And a pickup of 22 yards.
Quinton has quick feet right here. It's a trap play. It's a trap right up the middle. He saw the daylight. He's running full speed. And after he's hit, he slides 5 more yards.
So another 1st down for the Garnets. They have a total of 6. And a good drive here to open up the third quarter. 1st and 10 from the Eastchester 30-yard line. Pitch comes out to Giglio. Wants to turn the corner, slips away from the tackle, and finally upended, making the stop, John DeAngelica, number 82. And for Giglio, pick up a 5.
They're doing the same thing they did in the first half. Rice running to their left side because they have better traction. They have the grass here. They're staying away from the middle. They're pulling a guard. They're leading him around the end, picking up a blocker, looking to the inside, making a block. Giglio is running full speed, and he's not going to cut or anything. He's going to just go right over people. Eastchester is going to have to wrap around his legs to get him down. You can't bang and bounce with him shoulder-to-shoulder pass.
All right, little delay as we try to get a dry ball into the ball game.
Dino Gar wants that ball dry all the time because you never know. He might call a little pass into the flat. He might be open because Eastchester is going to be cognizant of the fact of the run.
10:16 left to go in the third quarter. Rye leads 14-0. They've had the ball since the opening play of this quarter began at their own 35-yard line and are now down to the Eastchester 25-yard line.
Riebling's doing an excellent job throwing his sophomore. Great.
Ball loose. Riebling picks it up, but down he goes. Just able to get a handle on it, and as he did, the entire defensive line of the Eagles came cruising in. A loss of 6 on the play brings it back to the 31-yard line, where it'll be 3rd and 11.
Now, this is the exchange between the center and the quarterback. That ball is slippery, it's wet, and the quarterback's going to just have to stay there maybe a tenth of a tenth of a second longer to make sure that he has that ball. And defensively, Eastchester's penetrating. They're blowing a linebacker. They're coming right in there.
3rd and 11 from the 31-yard line. This is Giglio again. Big hole opens up the middle, and Giglio gets down to the 30-yard line, a pickup of 6, but he will be way short of the first down. And it'll be 4th and 5 for Ryan.
Now on his play, they send a middle linebacker on a blitz, and he sent him to the opposite side. Giglio went to his left, which there was a little seam. The crack was open. He picked up yardage.
So on the 4th down, Ryan will go for it. From the Eastchester 25-yard line. King now the tailback. Behind Quinton the fullback. Watch for the shift. There it is. Eastchester's not fooled. They remain onside. And now Ryan will run the play. They flip it out to King. He can't get a handle. And it's recovered by the Eagles. The pitch came out to King. He never got a hand on it. And Eastchester recovers and will have it 1st and 10 from their own 36-yard line.
That's good pursuit, good hustle on Eastchester's part. There's the pitch right out of his hand. I can't see the number who came in there right after that ball.
So 2nd fumble of the day by the Garnets. 2nd turnover, and Eastchester in business now with 8:35 left to go. From their own 36. Morgan is in motion. Burrows throws it up way short. He was under heavy pressure from Gus Huber, got to him. And the pass fell in front of the intended receiver, Mike Salvatore.
Coach DiArco's going to have to be definitely sure that that ball is dry. He has that ball boy over there. Make sure you dry that ball off very well before you bring it in.
All right, for the Eastchester Eagles on offense, Burrows is the quarterback, Wooten the fullback, Gabelli the tailback, Petrillo the halfback, and Joe Pinto is the split end. On the offensive line, Fruscillo, Paladico, Valentine, Kaplan, Papalardo, and Bill Sabatino, the tight end number 90. 2nd down and 10 from the 36-yard line. Burrow throws it outside. Gabelli wants to turn the corner. Can't, as Tommy Armis is there. And with help from the rest of the defense, they drop him for a loss of 3 yards on the play. And speaking of the defense, here is how they set up with their 4-man front. Nick Stavarich, Scott Johnson, Roy Haney, and Gunnar Huber on the line. The outside line, or the middle linebackers, Tom Cottespati. The 2 outside linebackers, Mark Surhoff and Tommy Armis. Mike Bach and Alex Wickland are the cornerbacks. The free safety is Quinton, and the strong safety, number 21, Colin Haney.
It's so hard to get to the outside perimeter against Fry, especially to Stravity's side. What he did, he feathered the play out very well, excellent. Gabelli couldn't get around him, and everybody else came in, pursued, and made the tackle.
3rd and 13. Gabelli again finds an opening around the far side and gets it up to the 40-yard line.
Up by Wickland.
And Wickland on the tackle. It will be 4 down. Pickup of 4 yards.
Here's a little counter. It's a fake to the fullback. Gabelli has it going over left tackle, going to the outside, and he's tackled. That defensive rise, the Rat Pack defense, they come right at you. Boy, you know, getting bit by rats. That's worse than like swarming bees coming to making a tackle. These bees will just sting you, and they sting. But the rats are
Burrows comes up underneath the center on 4th down. There's the pitch to Wooten. And he gets the kick away. And Wooten was bumped. No flag as the ball goes out of bounds. And they'll spot it at the 39-yard line. And the call there with no flag when you get contact, that means that somebody got a hand on the football.
Yeah, he must have gotten his fingertip on the ball. I don't know how he didn't block it. He was right there. Now here's the pitch, right at. Now look at it, he's right on top of him. See, the man went for the punter instead of going where the ball was going to be kicked. That's what you have to do. It's about a yard in front of that foot. If he would have just dove or put his hands up in front of the punter, he would have blocked that kick.
6:55 remaining to play, 3rd quarter. Ryan again with the football. They lead 14-0. Have it 1st and 10 at their own 39. Surhoff is the wide receiver to the near side. They go right up the middle, Chris Quinton. And Quinton, good second effort, gets him 4 very tough yards. Make it 5 as he'll bring it up to the 44-yard line.
Now they're in the power I right formation right up the middle. See how he got bounced there a little bit, trying to find that seam? The opening picks up the 4 tough yards.
Stay in, Hooter. 195.
Second down and 5.
Now, for Eastchester, you got to be careful if you're going to blitz those linebackers, because once they get past the line of scrimmage, they're going to lose that traction going right or left.
Burrows, little corner route, completes it. Tommy Armis, and Armis is forced out of bounds at the Eastchester 46-yard line. That'll be good for another first down. A pickup of 10 yards on the pass.
Ball.
You see, Rye's throwing these passes into the flat. There's the pass right there. It's in the flat, down the sideline, picking up yards. They're very successful. Now, what Dino Gar is doing, he might even send a man in motion to see if Eastchester is playing man for man or if they're playing zone. Now, if they're playing man for man, and then he can use Armis to get to the outside into that flat, he'll be open.
Surhoff now split to the top of the screen, and this time up the middle they go. And getting the football, Jerome Kenny, number 42. And that's just the second carry of the day for Kenny. Again for 1 yard. So he now has 2 yards rushing.
And here they're going to go. There's a little trap play. You see number 60 pulling out of his guard position and trapping. Then you have Sabatino, Papalardo, and Valentino in there on a tackle. Now, Eastchester's tough from tackle to tackle, picking up those yards. If they blitz and they go to the wrong side and then Rye runs a trap play up the middle, that's where they pick up their 10, 12 yards. Just going to have to stay home and play good, tough, hard football.
Second down and 9. Riebling again looks to throw. Across the middle, and it's completed to Surhoff. And Surhoff goes there for another first down at the Eastchester 33-yard line.
See, now Eastchester, it looks like they're playing man-for-man defense. So Surhoff is just going to run out there, drive his man back, turn around, and boom, the ball comes right to him. Now, the defensive man is going to back off because he doesn't know if Surhoff's going to continue going on straight down like a fly pattern. So now he creates a big distance like a pocket. Mark stops there, turns around, and the ball's thrown right to his chest.
Of course, that's the advantage on a day like this. The receiver knows where he's going, and the defender doesn't.
Exactly.
And that handoff to Jerome Kenny. And Kenny spins, finally hits the wet turf for another 1 yard gain.
Now there he's going right. They're spinning. He tagged by the leg, he's wrapped around the leg. But again, it's the traction. You really can't dig. In weather like this years ago, coaches would put mud cleats on the ball players. They'd take the old cleats off. The mud cleats were about 1.25 inches longer so they could dig in deeper into that mud.
Here's Joe King. Close to the 30-yard line. And King down to the 28. Wright continues this drive, pick up a 5 yards on the play.
Now here they're going right to the left side again. There's King, good power. He wants to run over people. They're running to the left when they run. Defensively, you might want to overshift a little bit, bring over a linebacker to that side or just shift the linebackers down because they're coming to that side where they have the good traction and stop them there in that grass.
Joe King, get on the sweep. Breaks away from a tackle, is very close to another first down across the 25. Looks like they're going to spot it at about the 24, and we are going to have our first measurement of the day.
Now here's the pitch again. Here's King running. He's got his blockers in front of him. They're pulling, and they do have that traction. I keep saying it, and it's so obvious. That's where you want to run. You can't run in the middle of the field. There might be 1 inch of water there. The mud is definitely there. So what you're going to have to do defensively is if you're in a 5-3, just move the 3 linebackers over a little bit, even if it's a half of a man or even a full man.
There you get a great look from Pat Burke down on the field how close the Garnets came to the first down stake. And about a half a yard shy, so it will be 4th and less than 1 now for Rye. 3:52 left to go, third quarter. Garnets lead 14-0.
Now, you have to give Tom Maloney, he's the coach of the quarterbacks, the receivers. He's doing a great job coaching. They got a sophomore quarterback, and then John Antonuccia, who's the defensive coordinator. He's in charge of that rat defense that only allowed 19 points the whole season. tremendous coaching job. I talked to Dino Gar about the coaching staff, and he said that we're all on one wavelength. We know what each other is looking for and what we need, what we want. It's just like, just go out and do your job.
Riebling was a quarterback keeper, and it is good enough for the first down as he gets 2 yards. That's the first carry for him, except for the 2-point conversion.
Now here's Steve right here, just straight ahead. Now, Steve, don't stand up. Stay low. Stay low and keep those legs pumping like pistons.
First down, number 8 for the Garnets, who are rolling here in the third quarter. Ball control offense from Dino Gar and his crew.
Now, I hope the defense of Eastchester is not getting tired because they got to get tough. They're like nails down here.
Here's Gilio. Down to the 19-yard line. Pickup of 2.
Stopped at the Eastchester 19.5.
Eastchester's doing the right thing. Now, here's Gilio right there. See that? See the tackle? The tackle's made right in the legs. That's what you have to do. You don't want to get shoulder pad to shoulder pad. You don't want to, wrap around his waist or his hips because those legs are moving. They're pumping. Make the tackle on the legs. It was well done last play.
73 yards rushing for Gilio in the ball game. It's second down and 8. There's a squeaky clean uniform that's gotten to the ball game. I believe that's Jerome Kenny, number 42.
Boy, John,
number 41 making the carry. That's Scott Newman.
Boy, John,
he gets his first entrance into the ball game.
Yeah, John, I just wanted to say, excuse me, but I just saw a beautiful block out there by Mark Weintraub, number 74 for Rye. Boy, did I can't see any numbers or anything, but he just blew the defensive man of Eastchester back, and then he knocked down another guy.
6-yard pickup for Newman. And number 42, Jerome Kenny with the call, and I don't think he got anything there. Stacked up right at the line of scrimmage.
Oh, that was Jimmy Scanlon on that tackle. Nice job there.
How do you know that?
I could tell because he's in my class. I could tell the way he's standing. Right there, beautiful tackle by Jimmy. He's going to be a good linebacker next year. He's got a lot of desire, good leadership qualities. He's hungry to play the game.
No gain on the play. 4th and 5. Make it 4th and 4. Armas in motion. Riebling still has it. Plenty of time. Throws across the middle. Incomplete.
Riebling pass incomplete.
And that will bring the ball back to the Eastchester Eagles. So a drive for Rye that began with 6:58 left in the third quarter and at the 39-yard line stopped at the 15-yard line with 1:39 left.
This is a bootleg pass. He's got a man open there, but he just did not have the footing. You have to plant and step forward. Eastchester rose to the occasion that time, and they stopped Rye on a tremendous drive.
Timeout on the field taken by the Eagles. They're first here in the second half. They'll have 2 more remaining. 1:39 left to go in quarter number 3, and the Garnets lead the Eagles by a score of 14-0. Let's once again take a look. All right, we'll do that. The top 10 on the small school poll, and as we told you, you're watching our number 1 team. Have been so for the last 3 weeks. The Garnets at 6-0-1, followed by the Rams of Portchester at 6-0-1 as well, ranked number 2. Irvington is at 3, John Jay 4, Bronxville is at 5, Rhinebeck 6. But we told you earlier that Rhinebeck has already been beaten by Pleasantville earlier this morning. J.F. Kennedy is at 7. They're taking on Peekskill today. Dobbs Ferry has a home game against Valhalla. Byram Hills is at Beacon today, and Harrison will be playing Westlake. The Huskies making an appearance in the top 10 at number 10. So Eastchester brings the ball up 1st and 10 from their own 15-yard line with 1:39 left to go. Third quarter. Burrow, the quarterback, or Gabelli, number 40, gets the call. And Gabelli is close to the 20-yard line. They're going to spot it at the 19. A pickup of 4.
Right off tackle, and John Antonucci, he's the defensive coordinator, and he's telling those guys, you got to have a little... Nah, I don't think he would be telling them you got to have a little pride. They know that out there. They don't want anyone to score, today's game, next week's game, or even the bowl game. They have a lot of pride out there. They're the rat pack. They'll run at you. They'll gang tackle. They'll do everything. You're playing against the best defensive team in Section 1.
There's Gabelli again. And the defensive line wraps him up in a hurry. Gabelli right back to the line of scrimmage at the 19-yard line. And from there, it'll be 3rd and 7.
Now here's Matt Gabelli running, just tackled immediately right there, trying to get to the outside. Now you got to be careful here, Eastchester. You can't throw anything into the flat because if there's a little delay or a little slip of the ball, and it may be picked off by a defender from Rye, and they're so close to the goal line, he could take it in.
All right, that's the end of the 3rd quarter here at Nugent Stadium with the score. It remains Rye 14, Eastchester nothing. We'll return. The Eagles will have the football, but deep in their regular season finale next week up at Irvington High School as the undefeated Bulldogs going into this week's action take on the Broncos, who going into this week's action with just 1 loss. 12 minutes left to go in the ball game. Eastchester has the football, 3rd and 7 from their own 19-yard line. And Burrows on the rollout. Throws towards the sidelines, and it is incomplete. Looking for Gabelli, I believe, as his intended receiver out of the backfield. And he threw that one away out of bounds, and it will bring up a 4th down. So Eastchester has had the football twice here in the second half. 1 possession in the 3rd quarter. And now 1 possession here in the 4th quarter, or part of the 4th quarter, and they're going to have to kick it away again.
Yeah, well, what's happening? Rye, when they get the ball, they have a good running game. They have power. They're driving it down. They're maintaining control of the ball, picking up first downs.
All right, watch for the pitch. Here it comes. Wooten gets it, rushes on, and the ball is partially blocked. No, penalty marker on the play. Now, that one, I thought that Rye got a hand on it, as the ball came spinning off of the foot of Wooten, and the penalty marker came right down immediately.
Now the official's right there. He must have just missed the ball. The official was standing right there. He did not see it.
Who's the kicker?
And it is a 15-yard call.